Alright folks, so we left off with the last video with showing you what things look like with the duals on. Now we will fill you in on what the problem is here. It's been 2 minutes since when I ended the last video and when I started this one, so don't worry about any of you wizards in the comment section thinking you done schooled me here. Alright, so we'll get right into it. When I bought this tractor down in Georgia, I went down to look at it. The duals weren't on the tractor. So I said, well, I want to see the duals. I want to make sure they exist because this tractor was actually pictured with no duals on it. I'll see if I can find a picture here. I wanted to make sure there was duals furnished with it. Oh yeah, they assured me there's duals furnished with it. And they showed me the duals. I said, all right. The other thing that they didn't have in this tractor, they had the drawbar pulled out of it because they had to rob this hammer strap off for another tractor that they sold. So I want to make sure I get a drawbar with that too. And as you can see, we got a drawbar. They showed me the drawbar. They showed me the hammer strap. But, I'm sorry, it wasn't the hammer strap that they needed. They needed the pin that holds the drawbar on the front side of the tractor. So they pulled this drawbar out, robbed the pin out of it, and left the drawbar out of it. So, yes, comes with a drawbar, comes with duals. I said, all right, I got to make sure I get the bolts that go with the duals. Where are those? They showed me that def jug there with the bolts in it. I said, all right, there should also be extension hubs for this tractor. Extension hub. They said, oh, they're on the tractor. I said, no, there's another hub on these large 800 tires that bolts to the dual hub. And it's an extension. And then your dual bolts to that. We have them on the 9560. So they said those don't need the extension hub. I said, are you sure? They said, oh yeah, they don't need it. So I got to looking at these duals and I seen that they had an awful large dish to the outside. And I said, well, maybe it's just the way the dual is dished. Because this dual, this rim is almost to the outside of the wheel, the tire. I said, well, maybe that's gonna work. Maybe we're all right. So I said, if it didn't come with extensions, it must not need them. Well, there must be extensions somewhere because you wouldn't be able to run these duals like this. Now you might be saying, oh, Andy, you got to move the inner wheels in. No. There's an extension that goes on there because these wheels are only out an inch further than what they were prior to getting this tractor. If you remember, we had 13 inches of axle sticking out from the inner hub to the end of the axle. Now we have 12. We are an inch closer to the outside with this inner wheel. We're maybe 3/8 of an inch off of the safety ring, the snap ring on the outside of the axle. So we are an inch and 3/8 closer with this outer hub to the inner wheel. We can't really gain the amount of room that we're going to need here because we've got this blade frame in the way. And as you can see, that blade frame, it only sticks out, oh, we're maybe 2 inches. We're bolt and frame and whatever, we're maybe 2 inches there. Not quite, about 2 inches. We are 6 inches away from the frame. So let's clear all the way back. So even if we could move this wheel in as close as we could get it, which would be 6 inches in, but you'd want it about an inch away from the actual frame. You would only have about a 6-inch gap between that wheel. And then we've got a weight a weight bracket here, and we're about 6 inches there too. And we do have this inner weight. We'd probably only be able to move the inner wheel on the rear. Well, the front would be the same thing because we've got those cast iron final drives there. The wheel weight would hit right into it, and you'd say, well, Andy, that's why the wheel weights aren't on there. It needs a dual hub extension. So we've got to narrow that down. What I wanted to do with this tractor, and the reason why we're following through with actually putting the duals on anyways, is because what we want to do is we want to have McLaughlin's tire come and switch the outer tires with the inner tires. The inner tires are wore down a little bit more than the outer ones. The outer ones are like brand new. You can see that one over there is brand new. We do have some injuries in the sidewalls of these tires. I might as well put them near the bunk wall because you know what's going to happen. They're probably going to run into the bunk wall with it. So that's what we're doing here now. We're going to put them front wheels on, and then we're going to finish putting the blade together, and we're actually going to attach the blade to the tractor. And then we can be mucho done with this project. We do need to change the oil on it. We've got some filters left to change. Sarge went through and changed the hydraulic and transmission filters on it. We need to drop the oil. We need to put new air filters in it. We are going to replace all of the filters. Anytime we buy anything, I don't trust anybody telling me that it's been freshly serviced. Because chances are the previous owner extended his service interval out when he last used it, went beyond its service hours, and then you have the dealer tell you that he done did a full service on it, and then you go your service interval, you might be 600-700 hours on a service interval if the previous guy didn't change it, and then you go upon the dealership's word. So I've just got the filters for it, and we're just gonna change everything on it. It was like $1,500 or $1,600 for all of the filters for this tractor. So that's what we're going to work on here. We jaw-jacked enough, but I figured I had to explain a few things here. So let's go ahead and roll on into it here, and we'll get this suited up with the extra front wheels, and then we'll get that blade on the tractor. We have to finish putting the mount on the blade itself, and then we can flip it over and dive in underneath it and attach it to the tractor. All right, so we have this moved outside now. We ended up putting the front duals on. We do have some more weight to add. See the weights there next to the barn. We have some more weight to add to the dual rims on the rear. However, what we're gonna do, we're gonna have a tire guy come. He's gonna move the inside tires to the outside, so the duals are gonna come back off. We also have to get the dual extension hub. So rather than handling these wheels with the weights on them, we'll wait until we get the tires switched, and then we'll probably end up having the tires switched when the dual hubs come, and we can kind of do everything all at once. We'll get the wheels back on it, and then we'll put the existing weight on there. Once we put that dual hub on, or the extension, we'll have enough room to put more weight on the inside wheel. We'll have one more slab that we can put on both rear insides, and then we'll put a starter, 3 thick ones on this dual, and that'll eat up all of our rims, or all of our weights there rather. We have 8 of the 450s left and 2 of the 170 or 180s or whatever. So what we're going to do now, well, we'll show you this, how tight these wheels are. They are that tight. So what we're going to do now is we're going to carry that blade inside, and we're going to attach the part that gets hooked up onto the tractor. We're going to attach that to the blade. Those 2 pieces go together and they stay together. So we're going to carry that inside. I'm not sure if we'll have to use the gantry or not, but we'll just make things easier by having that inside, and we can get everything pinned up a little easier rather than working on it outside. So if you recall, I don't know if it was the last video or 2 videos ago, they ended up doing a bunch of work to this lowboy, and they've got it done, and they're getting ready to pull it outside. New floor, all new lights, new wiring, the whole 9 yards. So we should not have to work on this thing for quite a while. Nate is replacing some left axle tires. They got the rear end in that truck, and they're just about ready to pull that outside. So that's what we got going on. right, so we've got this all setting into place. Nate, he's inspecting my work. He's made sure I didn't get it on upside down. I think that's on, right, isn't it?
I hope so.
Yeah, we're gonna find out. We'll find out, huh?
Yeah.
Don't be walking away from the camera now. I can walk backwards too, you know.
Yeah, how far?
What do you think, Christian?
Looks like a silage blade.
Yeah. So we just got to tighten these bolts up. Got to hook the cylinders up. Get these blocks of wood off in there for the side-to-side angle. And then those cylinders that are in there for the rotation of it. Then after we get everything tight, we'll have to take a chain and try to very carefully set this down on the floor so that it is ready to be attached to the tractor. Real simple to put together. Real simple. Too bad them hooks weren't a little narrower. We could put it right on that telehandler. I did have a couple of comments come in, you know, why don't you fit up a blade to the telehandler or the payloader or the bucket tractor. This thing wouldn't push enough feed to keep up to the chopper. You'd need too many of them. So that's why we don't have a blade on the telehandler. Maybe if you were running a pull type chopper you could keep up, but you ain't gonna keep up with that little machine. So let's get this fitted up a little better and then we'll get her flopped down on the floor. Alright, so we have this setting down the way it's supposed to be. We'll bring the tractor in, couple onto it, and then I've got to hook the hydraulics up and I've got to tip it back and forth. To get those cylinders hooked up, And once we get everything hooked up, we'll run around it with a grease gun and park it where we're going to park it. Take the blade off the tractor. And yeah. So, got some nice kickstands. I put them down after the fact. I didn't know how violent it was going to come over on us. And it actually come down very nicely. They also put the farm's name on the front of all their silage blades. So they got Horgan Family Dairy stuffed in there. And yeah, looks like it's very nicely put together. We've got some other pieces in that box there that we're going to go ahead and put on it as well. So we'll bring the tractor over and see if we can't get hooked up to it. We're cockeyed a little bit. Might have to bring the forklift in to push it over just so that we can hit it straight.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Well, what do you think? Yeah. Okay, so we have a coupled on there. It wasn't straight enough in the doorway, so I hit it to move it over a little bit, and then I was not high enough, or low enough rather, with the oh, our pins ain't lined up here. Why aren't they lined up? We'll have to look at that a little bit. I don't know if there's an adjustment there or not. So we'll go ahead and try to figure that out. We might have to go down a little bit. It acts like this is not back all the way. I don't know why it's not back all the way. Jump up in there, Jared, and put the blade down and drive forward a little bit. It's awful tight. So it's not actually back onto it all the way. is right there. So we've got to pry it over a little bit. We're just a little tight yet. We might have to take a grinder across that. It's got to be able to come this way, which it should be able to do that. So we'll try that again. I gotta set it down and I gotta move the tractor over this way. On there a little more gooder. Oh yeah. So we'll just lock it. Still off a little bit. Now it's back too far. Locking that in now.
How do you?
This side's gonna make it. That side's off. It's not down on there all the way. The blade is not down far enough. Well, jump up in there, Sarah, and put the blade down just a little bit. Number 4 or 5 remote. this one, well actually we're gonna take the blade off. I've got to hook up the hoses on the back of the tractor, and then we can cycle them cylinders so I can get them hooked up.
Do like a montage with the pose when you do.
Okay, so this is like TikTok filming.
Yeah. Do like a TikTok. And ask him what his thought of the day is.
Yes. What's your thought of the day?
Ask him.
Oh, what the hell?
Go ask Dad. Go ask Dad what's thought of the day.
What's your thought of the day?
My thought of the day is I'm gonna be glad when this job is done.
Oh, that was good.
You'll be glad to be doing some tillages, won't you?
Yeah.
Or you like driving manure truck?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Maybe once that new one gets here, huh? Alright, so we ended up switching these hoses around a little bit too. We got 4 together, and then these 2 by themselves. These 2 here go to the regular lifting frame, and we'll keep these plugged into the tractor all the time. So you're going to want to make sure that blade frame stays up, doesn't creep down on you. You don't want to be plowing dirt with just the frame. So we'll keep that in number 5, and then these hoses here we'll just tie off somewhere out of the way. What we're gonna do now is one of you can jump up in the tractor. We'll have to get some zip ties on here too, and then we'll have to tie off our hoses, all of them on the right hand side. We'll have to put a black tie on once we get the remote figured out correctly. This one is correct.
Okay.
Back is up, and so on. Jump up in there, and we've got to run number 1 remote should do the tilt this way and that way, and we've got to hook the cylinders up.
Do you want me in it?
Yeah. Okay. Hold me.
Okay, so we've got this on there. It took a little bit to get those pins in. Now we're just going to make sure we've got our hoses hooked up right so that we can put ties on the back. Number 2, pull it back. It might have popped out. What we want to do is get our orientation right so that number 2 is correct. Maybe air in the system. Pull number 2 back. Hold it right on. Hold it on. There it goes. That's back. All right, hold it right on. Go forward. All the way. All the way. All the way. Hold it right on. Now we got air in there. Alright, there was air in the system. That's why it took that long. Now number 2 back again and hold it right on. Hold it right on. Okay, so that's full in both positions. Now go forward again. All right, number 1, pull it back. That's back. Go up with number 5. Number 1, back. All right, number 1, forward. Just got to get the air out of this system. Number 5, all the way up. All right, so that's all the way up with it fully angled to the left and fully tilted to the right. Number 2, back. Still a lot of air in that system. Bang. Oh, that's a good 6 foot off the ground. 7, that's about 7.5 foot off the ground right there.